What is good, y'all? Welcome back. So we're talking Nandrolone only today, okay? I'm doing an experiment on myself, very high dose of Nandrolone only. And I remember about 2 or 3 years ago, I did Deca only, 1 gram, just all by itself. And I felt pretty good, but I was inexperienced and pretty new. And it was for a short period of time. So I figured right now is a good time for me to push the dosages and try out the Deca only, Nandrolone only thing again. So my current cycle setup is 900 milligrams of Deca and 900 milligrams of NPP. Those are weekly dosages. So that's 1.8 grams of Nandrolone total. Now you're wondering why I'm splitting up and using 2 different esters of the same drug. Honestly, it's just because I had a bunch of extra NPP laying around. So I figured I'd split it. The only difference that it might make is Deca does peak to a higher level in a long term, but at such a high dose, 1.8 grams, we're gonna get all the effects of Nandrolone only that we need to see. The only other thing that I'm running is HCG. I'm doing 750 mcgs of HCG per week. I split that up Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 250 mcgs per shot. You need to know that for the experiment because that is gonna make a big difference. It's gonna raise our estrogen a decent amount, and it's also going to give us a little bit of test in the background. With those dosages, and depending on who's watching, you might be thinking like, damn, that's a lot of fucking gear, bro. 1.8 grams. Yeah, that is a lot for me, okay? That's the most I've ever ran, minus maybe the last week or 2 before a show. But the way I landed on this high of a dosage, I'm just slowly increasing my dosages over the years in general. And then I'm getting no crazy side effects. Also, my blood work keeps coming back excellent. It's just phenomenal every time. Plus, I'm also going from classic physique into open bodybuilding. So I got to put on a decent amount of size to be competitive. And then I thought, what better time to just do the Nandrolone only, because Nandrolone only, we want to see if it can make enough estrogen. Now, with that in mind, I did go and get my estrogen and prolactin tested. This is 6 weeks in. Prolactin at this number, it's always around 9, no matter if I'm on test or what I'm taking. This is a very normal number. And then the estrogen is lower than I want it to be. I would like to see estrogen closer to, high 30s, low 40s usually for me. With the Nandrolone, I guess it's just not creating enough estrogen. Keep in mind, I got the HCG in, so if I didn't have the HCG, it would be even lower. What I'm gonna do to increase my estrogen here, I'm gonna up the HCG dose and go from about 750 to 1,000 mcgs per week. I'm gonna see if that makes a difference. Try to get my estrogen around the low 30s, which would be pretty nice on a high dose of Nandrolone. I'm not getting any low estrogen side effects. I would just like to see the number higher because I'm not getting any high estrogen effects either. So if there's no high estrogen side effects and your estrogen number is on the lower end, it's best to increase it, okay? Keep in mind that Nandrolone, either Deca or NPP, it's gonna keep your estrogen sensitivity higher, which means a lower number of estrogen is gonna be more sensitive to the tissue. So you do have to be careful. You can't run the same estrogen numbers you normally do. So let's talk my physique. I'll show you all what I'm looking like on the screen. This is 6 weeks in at 250 pounds, and I put on about 13, 14 pounds in 6 weeks. So as you can see, I'm not too crazy bloated. I'm not too crazy watery. And then you can see my face, even in this video, I don't have any crazy bloating in the face or anything. It's less bloating than I thought and less fullness than I was expecting. But I think that crazy fullness and wateriness comes when you mix it with test. I think that's what people are expecting. So in the gym, I feel great, right? I do notice as soon as I start warming up though, I get extremely sweaty, more so than any other compound I've ever ran. But other than that, the pumps are great and the progress is good. There's no crazy strength gain or any crazy mental drive like you get from other more harsh compounds. You just feel pretty steady and the muscles are just moving how they're supposed to and just progressing slowly. Now the pumps feel great. It's not overbearing or anything crazy. It's just a good constant blood flow. The recovery on the Nandrolone feels great. I'm only sleeping about 3 or 4 hours a night the last 3 to 4 weeks because I have this nerve being compressed in my shoulder and it's giving me pain in my arm and it does not let me sleep properly. But even with that, I'm still making great progress in the gym. The soreness in the muscles go away at the right time and I'm ready to hit a workout every 3 days on the same muscle. So Nandrolone is definitely covering my bases on that. Now, side effects that I could tell as of 7 weeks on, as of today, night sweats almost every night. It's almost like being on trend. As far as my skin goes, my face is definitely drier. And then the rest of my body and acne and stuff is exactly the same. Whenever I start a cycle on any compound, I get 1 or 2 pimples on my face every week or 2, and then it kind of just goes away. For my hair, it's only 7 weeks, so I can't really tell if it's growing more or less. Seems to be growing about the same. And then my back hair actually seems to be growing more. Now for sexual side effects, you probably hear about Deca dick all the time. I don't think that really happens. I think that happens when you run the wrong dosages of test and Nandrolone together. I don't think when you're actually properly dosing things that really happens as commonly as you think. For me, everything works great, sex drive's great, and everything functions properly, so no issues with that. Lastly, the mental and psychological side effects. At only 6 or 7 weeks in, it's gonna be hard to tell you a full representation of what it's like, but I would say in general, it's like a flatlined monotone kind of emotion, as in there's no extreme on either ends. And then if you are slightly negative, you get pulled into a slightly negative headspace, but you're almost stoic about it, so you don't care. So you just live with that slightly negative tone throughout the day. Usually, if you're like in a negative headspace in general, you can kind of pull yourself out, have motivation, have plans, ideas, and then you have like a positive kind of set of ideals you can roll with. With the Nandrolone, it's almost like you get those and then you forget about them and you just want to be stoic and slightly negative and live like that. It's not extreme. I'm slightly exaggerating it to make it easier to explain. But if it got worse, or maybe you're super sensitive to the side effects, it's something you have to watch out for. At this point in the cycle, that's about all I can think of. If I forgot anything or you have any questions, send me an Instagram message or leave a comment. If y'all want coaching to get you to your physique goal, message me on Instagram or email me. I got you. And then if you want to stay updated on the cycle, you like this kind of content, subscribe and like, support your boy. Thank you.